learn how to set rules for team behavior, problem solving, and decision making, and find out how to deal with ineffective team members and how to revitalize your team. Some background on team building. All too often, an organization will gather all their employees, bring in a motivational speaker who talks about team spirit and gets employees all geared up for teamwork. Then what happens? The speaker leaves and the organization or unit goes back to the same old way of doing things. If the organization had spent as much time training and working with team leaders, managers, and supervisors of the newfound spirit, the money would have been better spent. Building a winning team does not happen by accident. It happens by design. The idea of teams has been a part of corporate culture in Canada since the 1980s. There are some success stories, those that have led the way, Hewlett-Packard and 3M to name a few. Their achievements are well documented in many university program case studies on how to build a winning team. Yet there are others. Despite being part of the collective consciousness for more than 20 years, many employers still struggle with the integration into the workplace. Why employers want teams is easy to understand. To harness the creative powers of the whole rather than just the individual. Furthermore, in a competitive marketplace, employers need an edge, that being creativity. Yet with such a widely accepted and proven model in place, why do teams often fail to meet the objectives of employers? In today's do more with less environment, it is more critical than ever that a team approach to getting the job done and meeting objectives be established. In a survey of 4,500 teams in more than 5,000 workplaces conducted by Wilson Learning Corporations, it was found that the biggest stumbling blocks to building successful teams were: first, company policies and procedures that focus on individuals rather than teams; second, chaotic meetings and the inability to deal with conflict. The survey found that, in order for teams to be most effective, leaders must work with management to get teams started and keep them aligned. 3 messages for team members were derived from this study. 1. Build shared responsibility. Members help each other. 2. Help, encourage, and develop. Coaching feedback. 3. Work on a vision alignment. Reflect the larger meaning of the team's daily activities, for example, value to customers. Back in the 1970s, the Japanese really began to increase their sales and quality of workmanship and compete in the world market. This was a result of their deciding that the workers who were doing the jobs were the best people to come up with the new ideas and ways of doing the job. These ideas migrated to North America as quality circles and are now known as employee involvement programs. However, the quality circle or employee involvement ideas did not gain ready acceptance because immediate supervisors stopped their effectiveness. Supervisors had 2 problems with this concept. They thought, if employees come up with the best way of doing things, what will they need me for? And secondly, if I have to go and ask employees the best way of doing things, my status will go down in the organization. This history item illustrates that managers, team leaders, and supervisors are going to need to be trained more than employees in order for this concept to work. Managers must be made to realize that their role as a team leader is still to set out each individual's objectives based on the organization's objectives. Team members or employees simply provide input on the best way to get there. Prerequisites to team building. In the ISO 9000 Quality Assurance Management Model, one of the first requirements is a quality policy or vision statement. This serves to ensure that all individuals in the organization are aware of, aligned with, and share a common goal or company objective. There must be objectives to start building a winning team. Once objectives are set, you must set performance standards and form action plans to meet the standards. Linking the individual's goals to those of the organization will pay dividends. Employees must have a sense of belonging and contributing and want to input into getting the job done. If an employee knows and understands his or her role and place in the grand scheme of things, they will feel like they belong, and because they participate and have input in the process. Tips to building a team. 1. The organization must create an atmosphere which encourages employee involvement. 2. Building a strong organizational team requires that the right fit for the organization's culture be selected at the hiring stage. Hewlett-Packard uses an interview panel to interview candidates, and panel members must be totally comfortable with the candidate to be hired before a letter of offer is extended. 3. Managers and supervisors must be involved in soliciting contributions from employees, and employees must feel that they will be heard. Many times, managers and supervisors have not been trained in this area and are the cause of team failures. 4. When a new team is first established, it should be task-oriented. Task-oriented management style provides structure and clear direction. Relationship-oriented styles will develop as time goes by. It can take from 6 to 8 months to build a cohesive, efficient team. 5. When establishing a new team, learn what teammates value about their work. 6. Team leaders must learn to let go of control and let the team be creative and productive. No autocratic or authoritarian team leaders need apply. 7. If you are a team leader, pay compliments to team members and encourage them to compliment each other. 8. Team members should look at conflicts as problems to be solved by the team. A good team will resolve its own conflicts through its problem-solving processes and unify against outside pressures. 9. Ensure that creative people with diverse skills are placed on the team. This is especially important where team members are in various locations. Brainstorming sessions will be much more productive. 3M Canada has found that using the approach of encouraging creativity from employees has resulted in the invention of many new products. They attribute the invention of Post-it notes to their team approach atmosphere. 10. Communicate or advertise team successes to everyone in the organization via bulletin boards, employee newsletters, and intranets to help them create an open, team-oriented atmosphere. Many organizations have provided notice boards or space to post any employee notices. For example, garage sales, babysitting, etc. And finally, 11. Corporations like Royal Bank, Nortel, and others have become involved in their communities in a variety of ways. For example, 10K runs, cleaning up parks, and almost everyone has a United Way campaign. These instill a sense of pride in their employees, and employees brag about their organization and how their team was successful in organizing and participating in such events. Prerequisites for team building. Building teams requires a structured process to ensure success. The first element of the process involves job descriptions, what must be done, objectives, when and by whom it must be done, standards, measuring what is done, and action plans, how it is done. Standards for team behavior. A sense of mission. All team members must have a sense of mission, which reflects the larger meaning of the team's daily activities. They should be able to describe the mission of the team in a way that stresses its value to your customers. Share common values. Every member of the team should be in agreement with the team's mission. They should actively support the team's goals and contribute to the team's successes. Pay attention to business fundamentals. Team members should approach team projects as if the business were their own. The job to be done must be done with the customer's best interest in mind. The boss does not give the organization business, the customer does. Bureaucracy is the enemy. The team should not be bogged down in red tape and organizational bureaucracy. Encourage experimentation. Team members should not be afraid to try new ideas or suggest new ideas. They should be encouraged to experiment. Stay close to customers. Teams should try to maintain continuous contact with customers. Many times a suggestion or request from a customer will initiate a solution. Finally, development is top priority. Team members must continually be abreast of changing times and concepts. Training, mentoring, and coaching should be made available to provide continued development. Ground rules for team interaction. After you have established the standards for team behavior, the next step in the structured process approach is to set some ground rules for your team. These must become agreed upon guidelines for team members to interact. 1. Candid and open. All team members must be candid and open about their suggestions, problems, and concerns. 2. Speak directly to team members. Address concerns to the person to whom it involves. Be direct. 3. Express problems and concerns. All team members must participate and express their problems and concerns that they have with any part of the team's activity. 4. Everyone has input. All team members must know that they have valuable input to whatever discussion, activity, or problem that the team is faced with. 5. Consensus on issues. The last ground rule is that a consensus is reached on all issues. Many teams fail because one person drives through ideas or a clique will run the show. Questionnaire. Now that we have set the ground rules, we are almost ready to conduct our first team meeting. Before a meeting is held, the team leader should give out a copy of the questionnaire which follows. Each team member should prepare answers to the following questions. 1. What do you feel the organization expects you to do in your job? This may include the formal job description. 2. What do you actually do in your job? Describe your actual working activities and point out any discrepancies between the formal job description and your actual job. 3. Identify specific difficulties or concerns you have had in working with other team members. 4. What do you need to know about other people's jobs that would help you do your own work? 5. What do you feel others should know about your job that would help them do their work? And finally, 6. What do you need from others in order to do your job the way you would like? Here's the process for the team building session. Each person reads their responses to questions 1, 2, and 5. Each person should then read his or her answers to question 4 and attempt to get answers from the persons identified in the question in the total group. Each person then reads his or her answer to question 3. Even though these concerns may have already been covered, any unsolved concerns should be aired at this time. Try to solve the problems and concerns without laying blame. Each person then reads his or her answers to question 6. The focal person tells others what is needed from them, and the others also explain what they need from the focal person. All team members must fill out the questionnaire prior to the meeting. This process allows all members to have input for the first session. If team members refuse to complete the questionnaire, they may have to be omitted from the team, or you may need to find the reasons for the member not contributing. The important point to remember is that the team process must not be held up. If a member has to be omitted or problems cannot be resolved, you must continue the team process. First meeting. Once the questionnaires have been completed, the team member will now have a handle on some of the team's problems and concerns. Now the first team session can be held. This is the recommended procedure when conducting the team session. 1. Each team member should read his or her responses. 2. Each should read their responses to question 1, 2, and 5. 3. Next, each should read his or her responses to question 4 and try to get answers from the person identified in the question in the total group. 4. Each person then reads his or her answer to question 3. Even if these concerns have already been covered, any unresolved concerns should be aired at this time. 5. Problems and concerns should be solved without laying blame. 6. The next step is to have each person read his or her answer to question 6. The focal person tells the other team members what is needed from them, and the others explain what they require from the focal person. You have now identified problems and concerns of each team member by doing this questionnaire. Having responses given in this order, each team member knows the concerns, problems, and duties of the others. As you can see, this is a structured and repeatable process to handle new teams or new activities for which teams are formed. There is also a set of rules for team problem solving. Here is where your team begins to come together and work together as a team. Problem solving. Rules for team problem solving. 1. Put problems in order of priority and select 5 or 6 of them. Define the problems. 2. List alternative solutions. Select alternatives to be implemented and work out action plans. 3. Identify driving and restraining forces and develop a plan to remove obstacles. 4. Begin role negotiations. Negotiate between people or subunits the actions needed from each other to improve effectiveness. Give each team a problem to work on. 5. Group problems into A, those you can work on here, B, those problems someone else must handle, define who, and C, those problems you must live with since they are beyond your ability to solve. And finally 6, set targets, objectives, and performance standards. Revitalizing a team. When? Teams need to be revitalized when the following conditions appear. The same people seem to be doing the same things the same way year after year, even though other conditions have changed. Product or service levels have stayed constant for some years, although similar factors in other organizations have improved. New people often transfer out or quit because the atmosphere is just not challenging enough. The area of greatest pride among workers is their loyalty and devotion to the organization. There seems to be fear or resistance to risk-taking or trying out something new. And finally, if the rewards in the organization go to the people who did the solid standard job, few rewards go to the person who initiates a new method or product. Revitalizing a team. How? 1. When teamwork collapses, sometimes from lethargy and demotivation, there are usually two underlying reasons: individualism and expedience. Team members focus on their own narrow needs and sacrifice broader principles for quick results. The first step in the remedy is for the team leader to try to get the team to re-clarify its purpose. This will entail reminding the team of past successes, why members were part of the team, skills, knowledge, experience. Maybe it's time to change some of the team members. The team leader must interview individual members to determine if they are still committed to the team's goals. The team leader may know that some team members are in this situation, but should interview all members of the team. 2. Team members must regularly provide feedback to one another about individual and team performance. Relationship-oriented teams are considerate, supportive, and proud of their contribution. If your team has lost any of these traits, why has this happened? If the team falters, is the team leader the problem? The team leader will need to ask him or herself honestly if he or she is part of the solution or part of the problem. Is the organization's structure, policies, procedures, etc., creating barriers to effective and efficient team operation? 3. One method to revitalize the team may be to retrain team members in how to work in a team environment. 4. Employee empowerment is one method to revitalize a team. If employees work better, they feel better about the job. Empowered people have clear responsibilities that can be measured. They are appreciated as adults who contribute to the organization. People who make decisions affecting their work suffer less stress because they feel as if they are in charge. Managers, supervisors, and team leaders must continue to reinforce and cultivate their employees' ideas. Revitalization could result by improving the performance appraisal process to empower employees. This will mean revising the organization's policies and procedures mentioned earlier. We have seen that the role of the leader is most important in the formation and success of the team. A good leader is honest, fair, open-minded, self-confident, innovative, motivated, able to delegate authority, and able to stimulate people.